Hey, little math explorers! Welcome back to our magical math adventure. Today, we're going to learn about something super cool: rounding numbers. Doesn't matter if you're working with teeny tiny numbers, a bit bigger numbers, or even numbers with more digits, we're here to help you understand it all. So, put on your math wizard hats, and let's start our amazing journey. Rounding numbers. Why do we do that? Let's talk about why we round numbers, in super simple words. Imagine you have some numbers that are a bit tricky to work with, like 697 or 8473. Sometimes, we want to make these numbers simpler, making them friendlier to use. That's where rounding comes in. When we round numbers, we're like math magicians. We look at the numbers and decide if they should be a bit bigger or a bit smaller. It will make them easier to play with. For example, if we have 8763 and we want to round it to the nearest 10, we make it a little bit smaller and write it as 8760. However, if we want to round it to the nearest 100, we make it bigger and write it as 8800. But, if we want to round it to the nearest 1000, we make it more bigger and write it as 9000. So, rounding helps us work with numbers that are easier to handle. And guess what? Rounding makes math more fun and helps us understand numbers better. So get ready to become a rounding expert as we break it down step by step. Let's jump right in. Rounding can be super easy with just 3 simple steps. Step 1. Identify the rounding place. Step 2. Determine to see if we need to round up or round down. Step 3. Apply the rounding magic. See? Just 3 simple steps, and you're a rounding expert. Let's see what needs to be done for these steps. As a first step, we need to find the special spot where we want to do the rounding. It's called the rounding place. If we want to round to the nearest 10, our rounding place is the tens place, where the tens digit hangs out. If it's to the nearest 100, it's the 100s place, where the hundreds digit lives. And if we're going for the big rounding to 1000, it's the 1000s place. Remember, this spot is like a spotlight on the stage of numbers. While looking at this spotlight, also check out the number right next to it. This is super important. That number decides if we make our number bigger or smaller. So, step 1 is to find this spotlight, the rounding place. After finding the rounding place, let's move to step 2. Now, you need to decide whether to round up or round down the number. How do we figure that out? It's quite simple. It's all based on a logic that's easy to understand. If the digit right next to the rounding place is 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, we round it up to 10. But if it's less than 5, like 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4, we round it down to 0. So, remember, if it's bigger than 5, we make it go higher and become 10. And if it's smaller than 5, we keep it small and make it 0. Got it? Awesome! Step 3. Finally, it's time for the magic. Apply the rounding decision from step 2. Let's think that there is a 4-digit number and we are rounding it to the hundreds place. From step 2, if the decision is to round up, we need to increment the digit in the rounding place by 1 and make all the digits to right of the rounding position to 0. But, if the decision is to round down, we need to simply make all the digits to the right of the rounding place as 0. See? You've got it. 3 easy steps, and you're a rounding superhero. Now, get ready because we're going to use these steps to round real numbers in our next video. So stay tuned, and we'll be back with more math fun real soon. Thank you.